We've mentioned many times before that nothing's gonna stop the Googans from getting out there on the water, especially when it's crab season and they've got traps to go check, and even if the weather's rough and they're in a small boat, they're going anyway, but sometimes that'll turn bad, just like what we see here. Welcome back, crew, to this episode of Googans of the Week. Now, fortunately, local law enforcement had a boat out in the water, even though it was rough weather, and when this crew wound up sinking, it was in shallow water, but they were able to get rescued and pulled out. And speaking of getting rescued and pulled out, nothing quite like getting out there thinking you're going to enjoy a wonderful day of sailing when all of a sudden things go wrong and, well, that day of sailing goes on the rocks. Now, it's one thing when your wonderful day of sailing gets on the rocks and things go wrong. It's another thing when you are just sitting there in your house, living your life, and your boating day goes wrong. You gotta be like, BG, what do you mean? Well, it happens to some people where you're just sitting there chilling and the next thing you know, a boat decides it's gonna invade your house. Now, we've featured this one many times where the Googans have been out there in the water and got a little too close to some boats that were out there on the water working. And most of those times things turn out okay, but this is one of those times they don't, and we remind you why you need to stay far away from large commercial vessels out there working on the water. Now, this right here is not a Googan move. You might think so, as this crew's actually turning this vessel completely upside down, but they're only testing the self-righting capabilities of it, as it's one of the world's largest fireboats that is completely self-righting. Maybe they should do this for all the Googan boats so those guys can't sink it out there on the water. Thanks for watching, crew. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Googans of the Week. If you ever see anything crazy happening on your waterways, be sure to hit us up on Facebook or Instagram and let us know, and you might see your stories over here. Just like Adam Coolidge, Picasso West, Isaac Burrows, Alex Perez, and Don Hinkle did this week. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button here. If not, we're coming to steal your drain plug.